Hi everybody. We're now on starting a part two of the class on Moshiach Shofar and how it awakens all of us lost Jews. Now comes to a very special level, and we're going to explain how this works. Mr. Shemel, you'll understand how special you are, and therefore you can do more good stuff, and we can bring you literally much faster. The more special you are by a sincere good Jew is because we don't feel like anything. So we say, who am I to do this? Who am I? When you realize that Hashem made you very special. And that's what the learning Dvar Malchus, my other class, is talking about how special we are. And this talks about the specialness of the Jews, of the lost Jews, how they come from a very special level. And even more than this, the Rebbe says everybody can reach this level now in our generation. A very special time. So let's go further. So we're at number Dalit. And it's explained in the beginning of the Maamar that after he explains over there in the pasuk that it will be a BaYom Shofar Gadol, that they will blow the Great Shofar. This that we say for Rosh HsShanah, that this is the beginning of my work, because why is it the beginning of my work, my work? Why is it? Because every Rosh HsShanah it says that Hashem brings the world into creation anew. And like they were the first time, they're like they never existed, but it brings a whole makes the world anew every Rosh Hashanah. And this other thing, it says Zichron Le'Yom Rishon. It says it's also a remembrance of the first day. So this that it says it's only a remembrance of the first day. It's not the first day. What is Zichron? It's a remembrance, not the first day itself. Why? Because the beginning of the creation, when Hashem made his desire that he wanted to create a wonderful world, that a thing he wanted to make this great creation. It came from Hashem, and he got Biskasu because he wants to. He likes to do good. He wants to do good things, but now, in order for the world to stay in existence, Hashem wants what He created, especially the Jew, that He should use the creation to make it even nicer. That it's dependent upon us. That we're going to show Hashem that that what He made, we're going to make it even more beautiful. What He gave us is like you have workers, and you make something yourself and show this. But then you show your workers or your children, and they take everything, the energy you take, and they show like a higher and higher level. They show this bigger and a much greater level. That Hashem, when He created us and He gave us the world, He said we have to do more good stuff because He wants to have it's dependent upon us. So it's explained that it's a service from the Raz below, that through this you reveal the Ratzon Hatayna B'Bris Omos, that you bring down God's will to create the worlds, like it says. We say when in davening we say we talk about how the Hashem's a kingdom, Zechronos, remembrance of Hashem, and but Mashop and the blowing of the shofar say different pasukim. The reason that through this, by saying in the praying this in sentences, through this we bring down now. Because in order to bring down God's desire and want and delight in creation, in the world being created, it's dependent upon this man's service. We have to do something. If we sat and do nothing, the world would go out of existence. Because Hashem said, I don't need the world. I want the world, but I want something special. Everybody wants something new every time. So I want something new. So therefore it says the service okay. Therefore, it says that the service of man, that through that you bring, that we're doing now, this is the service of the Jewish people. That the root of the Jewish people is ba'atzmus. Our root is in the essence of God Himself. We're part of God ourselves. And the will, the desire, the want, and the delight that's drawn down now is a much higher level than the will and the delight that was drawn down by God Himself in the beginning of the creation. According to this, it's necessary to understand that the Shorish, the Minor, we have to understand something now. We see that the shofar from above, the Panemius Ratzon Elyon, from the inner will of God, Nimshach Akshav is drawn down, HsHu Shofar Stam. So we see now that the shofar, generally, every year God creates the world anew. It comes from the regular shofar. But also, this is through man doing something. We are serving God. We're crying out to God. We're doing good deeds. We're going and putting our lives on the line. Hundreds of thousands of Jews are Maamar putting their lives on the line to fight against Amalek, to destroy the evil. And this is a avoda, a very, very special avoda. So we have this avoda that is drawn from our service now. But we see that the shofar in the future, the great shofar, it's drawn down from itself without any arousal from below. So we have to understand how does this work. They're end of like two separate things. They're drawing down greatness of godliness, but one is totally beyond that. So it's explained in the Maamar that says, so it explains over there in the Maamar that it says that the blowing of the great shofar, it's through the blowing of the shofar now, the regular shofar. Kids could be saying, mitzvahs will not be, in the time to come when we see everything's godliness, we're still going to have mitzvahs. They're not being nullified. But then the shofar, then the blowing of the shofar will be in a much higher level. It'll be called the Great Shofar. So in other words, there are going to be mitzvahs in the future. So but yesh lomar. So the Rebbe is saying the Great Shofar, it's a new thing, that the source that when that you talk about shofar gadol shaykh the tekiyah shofar Rosh Hshanah. So how do we see? Well, up before we said you can't compare the two. One is so great that there's no realm from below. It's beyond everything. You can't even compare it even to the highest of all levels. It's beyond everything. It's nothing so great as the blowing of the great shofar. Nothing ever in the world. Everything else is compared to nothing. Even the blowing of the shofar at the beginning of the Torah. So he says that the source to this, that the blowing of the shofar has a relevance to the blowing of the shofar in Rosh Hashanah. It says brings though in the Gemara. The time of the Manda Omer to Tishrei Asim Nizgalo. There's one opinion according to, there's different opinions, but one opinion which is explained this is more depth than another Maamar. There's one opinion that says that in Tishrei that we're going to be redeemed. Why does it say Tishrei we're going to be redeemed? A lot of opinions say Nisan, but this one says Tishrei because he compares the shofar to shofar. What's the mean shofar to shofar? It's written Hacha Tekar B'Shofar B'Kodesh Shofar Kasaf Asam BaYom Yitaka B'Shofar Gadol. And one place is written, here it's written, it's talking about that he's going to blow the shofar B'Kodesh Yitaka B'Kodesh Shofar. You will blow the shofar in its month. It means it's talking about Rosh Hashanah. But over there it's written that you're going to blow the great shofar. So therefore he combined shofar. There's a comparison to. So according to this, we have to understand even more. We have to understand something else. This is very, very amazing stuff. We have to understand that's this that it brought above in the explanation we said that it says Yitaka becomes Shofar Yitaka Basbuli taught the claw. So here we're saying that by the great shofar, there's no arousal from below. It's just Hashem's doing it. It's such a high level. Hashem himself is doing it. But that, the Ikri, the Rosh Hashanah, who was Adam. So we said over there, one of the main things of Rosh Hashanah, which is the regular shofar, is the service of man. That's explained in many reasons that by Rosh Hashanah, it's the first day of Tishrei, even though the 25th of Elul, the world was created, that's the month before, and the first of Elul was the 6th day of creation. Now the rest, because this was man was created, so man is the main thing. So therefore, there has to be the arousal from below. So therefore we said and came into Inish Shofar Gadol, while Derek Tokab, who's similar to the blowing of the shofar in Rosh Hashanah. Therefore, the Rebbe comes. If up now, we can't understand how there's a comparison. How the Rebbe now comes and he's going to say, as he's going to teach to us, is this L'chor, there is a Hamshach Inyan Zed Tiyeh Kol. There has to be some arousal, some bringing down through man. Man must, even the lost Jews, must be doing something. Well, not even thinking about, just wandering around, lost beautiful children, beautiful kids, most of the guys I knew. Wonderful people, just lost, don't even know about nothing. So, it explains over there. Okay, according to this, Afal Pikain explains in the Jerusalem that explains that the shofar, that it blows by itself, without any rousing from below at all. So we have to understand that everything in the Torah. So now we have a question. Well, it seems that there's a connection between one blowing from a regular shofar, which is from below, and the great shofar, which we don't understand because they're two separate things. And the second thing we have to understand, he says, that the Torah itself, everything in the Torah is a lesson to us. It's teaching how we should serve Hashem. But what is Adam? Given should say this growing of the Great Shofar, it will be above without any arousal from below. What is it teaching us? What is this teaching me? The Great Shofar. What do I have to know about it? It'll happen. Mashiach will come. The Great Shofar will blow. But what is it relevant now? Everything in the Torah has to be relevant now today. So this will be understood as now the Rebbe is going to explain amazing stuff. But this explains how the Baal Tshuva of our generation, the lost Jews, that their inner self, their inner being, how they're mamish connected to Hashem, like it says, like we said before. I think I said before that there are three knots. It says that there are three knots. There's a knot that connects the Jews and the Torah, and a knot that connects the Torah to Hashem, and there's the third knot that connects the Jews to God. That's the knot we're talking about. That's even higher than anything. So this level is revealed. That the Jews revealed, Hashem sees the beautiful Jews, lost Jews, and he blows the great shofar. He grows from the essence because he sees how wonderful they are. He sees their inner essence, and they're just there for Hashem as soon as it happens. So let's go and see how it works. Rebbe's going to explain this in different ways. And this is understood. That BaYom but Dvar as explained for the Marash, that it says when shofar. So what's it working about? That the shofar in one side it's narrow, and the second side is wide. So it's because it says from the straits I call out from God, and God answers me with abundance. So it says similarly we see with that the voice of the shofar. So that it comes out from the shofar from the side that the narrow side, and only through this, and it comes through that to the wide side. It goes out to the other end. So simply it is in spirituality that when a person cries out from the straits, that we're crying to Hashem, that Hashem should save us, that people are shooting these missiles at us, and they're trying to kill all the Jews, and that Hashem, please save us, we love you so much, and we're crying out to Hashem that he should save us. And you see the Jews crying out to Hashem that by slichos today, right now they're going to have thousands of people but not allowing them to come because they're worried about missiles coming. But last night there were thousands of people who were crying out from Meitzer that Hashem should save us. And then from the Meitzer, then it says that we're crying out to Hashem. And through this, Anani b'merkavcha, that Hashem should answer us, that Hashem should give us a gula shlema, that Hashem should destroy all our enemies, and they should be destroyed and knocked out, and they'd not have any. And we should never have any more Hamas or no more Iran or all the enemies. So we're crying out that Hashem should answer us. It says explained over there. It says over there we're crying out from the depths of our heart that Hashem should answer us. It's explained over there that the Chazal say that every year, that the beginning of the year is poor, at the end it's rich. So what's it mean? The beginning is poor. What's it mean, poor? You have no money, and at the end, no. It means that the Jews, they make themselves like poor in Rosh HsShanah. That they pray, and they give thanks to Hashem. Rosh, it says that a person should supplications is the word of a poor person, that a person calls from Meitzer. And through this, that Hashem answers him with abundance. This is like the Kamad B'Maamar now, Admar, like it says by the Admar Rosh we said above, that there's a special quality of the prayer of the poor person over the prayer of the rich person. So what's this mean? When a poor person praying to God, there's a special quality. But Yesh Name, the Rebbe explains a special thing. This is a new thing when the Rebbe says Yesh Name. He says that there's a special quality in the prayer of a poor person, that it's in two ways. One, the prayer itself is very special. Like the Baal Shem Tov says on the pasuk, Tefillah ani ki yativ v'nei, that the prayer of the ani, because he's fainting, that he's weak, and he's fainting, yativ, and he's before Hashem, but he pours out his speech. That the prayer, what's it mean? That the prayer of a poor person, it's right before Hashem. He's standing in front of Hashem. Hashem is listening to him. He's calling from his inner essence. He's not calling he's just talking to Hashem for myself. Hashem, please, help me, Hashem. Help me. But Gam to feel it's also received more. There's two ones, that he's calling from his depth, right, and he's standing like a board, so he says, Bod Inyan. That there's also not only is special, such a special level, but it's also that through this oinik, this pleasure that the person has, that's drawn down. Well, excuse me. That also that when a person prays to Hashem and Hashem pays him back, brings down His great glory and does wonderful things for us. The poor person feels this and appreciates it much more. Like this is like it's brought down in the Maggid of Mezrich. Okay, so now we're talking about trying to understand how the Great Shofar has an arouser from below. And then we talked about that everything when you come from a plate of straits of nothingness, of depression, depression, it's straits, and the problems and issues, and you come out of there and you're crying out to Hashem because you need help, and He answers you. He says, that's one thing. He answers you with abundance. And then He says, considering also when a person is poor, what's the point? He doesn't know about anything. I was very poor. I didn't know about God. I was a good guy, though. I was always a good guy. I wasn't poor that way. I was a nice guy, but I didn't know about God. Very poor. I didn't know what I was doing. So when a person's poor, so therefore when God answers me, He shows me, here I am. I'm so excited as God has answered me because I really received it. So this is set two levels. One, that from the straits that Hashem answers you, you cry out from your inner part, and Hashem redeems you in a great way. And the second one is that when Hashem helps you, you really appreciate it. You really have Hakar Satov. You really appreciate it. You really thank God for what He did, for the wonderful things. According to this, there is to explain. We're on number 5. I'm sorry. Now we're started, and we're at the end of number 5. According to this, is explained the special relevance of the blowing of the Great Shofar to Rosh HsShanah. Because in the future time, you talk about Shofar Gadol, when we blow the Great Shofar, it will arouse the Jews who are lost and crushed, and because the lost and crushed Jews, as us before Hashem picked us up, we're totally level of straits. I had no clue what I was doing for 20 years. I was just kind of wandering. I didn't know what to do. It was amazing, really lost. And because of that, Hashem sees this, the lost Jews that are totally lost. This arouses the Great Shofar. So this arouses that Mashiach to come. It brings down a level from the hiddenness of godliness, quite beyond the world. Tachlis Amerchav. And this is the consummate, the great abundance. Hashem through great Torah, he reveals His great wonders, His great abundance, His wonderfulness, His great godliness. And this is the relevance of the blowing of the Great Shofar to Rosh HsShanah, because in Rosh HsShanah it says, it's in Rosh HsShanah you should blow in the month of Shofar. In Rosh HsShanah they should rashim tequila, because this idea of just like the Great Shofar arouses, because we're totally lost, it rouses Hashem to blow it. Also, the union of Rosh HsShanah says that when you're poor at the beginning, you make yourself poor. Then and it says myriads HsShanah when you're walking, and when you call to Hashem and Rosh HsShanah from the depth of your soul and from yourself, and then Hashem and the issues, and that you're so upset that you don't see the Avishur, not in the third Gebes of Gamigdash and their problems, and you're so upset you call Hashem, please help me. He makes you rich. He takes us out and brings us Gul Shlema. Now we're in number 5. Now the Rebbe is going to explain something special. That through the blowing of the Great Shofar, it's in order to arouse the lost and the lost Jews in the land of Asher, Syria, and the crushed Jews in the land of Egypt. So one is talking about lost Jews, when the lost Jews are in richness, they have everything. They have new cars, they have this, they have houses, they have maize, they have everything they have. They're running after money, and they're worried, they have this, that's the vanities of the world. And then there's the Jews that are just broken from the Gullus, and they have nothing, and they have trouble finding what life is because they feel they're nothing. These are the two extremes. But both of them, and that's why it says they were the land of Egypt, because Egypt is the idea of straits. that Nasa Eloi Gamir. So Rebbe's saying that Rebbe's going to explain that because when we're in the Gullus, that we get broken, and we're broken, but this makes an elevation to the Gullus, to the lands of the world, to the lands outside Israel. Gam be'eretz Asher, but it makes it a razzle to these lands of Syria, of Asher, and the land of Egypt. Because the reason that the Jews were exiled to the land of Asher, to the land of Syria, and the land of Egypt, it's until that we became lost Jews, lost, crushed and lost. It is in order that through this Gullus, through the mates of Gullus, this exile, this terrible exile, and especially the Mitzad Agalus Shal Elush Agalus Nasa Mitzad Oiptim, and not only in exile, but especially this exile where the Jews were made lost and crushed Jews. Dafka through this, the Shofar Gadol sees this, sees how we're so nothing, and this arouses him because we're the special, as I say, like these special children wandering around. I mean, most guys I know did tshuva, or the lost Jews are just nice guys. I'm just wondering. You ever see this? I see all the time children wandering. You ever imagine these children wandering? They don't know where they are, what they're doing. Beautiful people, but just totally lost. That was me. So therefore, through this that we're lost, it arouses the great shofar, and through this, yes, only Yisrael, the Madrega Naila Yosef, the Jews become to a very high level. Madrega Sham Kodem Shagalu, to a level more than they were before they were sent into exile. L'chein, therefore it says, she's Dak B'Shofar Goda, Tushlam Kavanas Bishvil, Nivra Eretz Asher Eretz Mitzrayim, Tehi Aliyah Gamheim. Therefore it says that when the great shofar, when Hashem blows and brings us back to Tshuva, this makes the reason why the Gullus, why the land we had to live in these terrible lands of exile, of Asher, of Syria, and in Egypt, and they also become elevated because Dafka through them. I mean, we see a similar thing that we see that by my Mitzrayim, that Dafka through the typicals we went through Mitzrayim, Hashem showed miracles and took us out, and then made a great aliyah. According to this, it would be understood that the special relevance of the blowing of the Great Shofar to Rosh HsShanah, because in Rosh HsShanah there are two matters. In Rosh HsShanah, it's the great Yom Brias, odd man was created. This, that not when man was created, it made an elevation to made everything better in the world, an elevation to the world, like it says like the Maamar says in a Maamar, the Ramaska he says over there in the Maamar that's talking about the words in the pasuk that this is the beginning, that it's the beginning of your creation. Remember, it's the first day. But strictly we have to understand that Rosh HsShanah, who the first day of Tishrei, who's the sixth day of the creation of the world, how is it a remembrance of the first day? So he explains over there, because the will to create the world is the Chatzonius Aratza. It's the exterior will. It's not the inner will. The will created the world, that I had to have a world, because in order I want a dwelling place. I want the Jew to go down and reveal my essence. But in order that, I have to create something, an existence, that they can do it. So the world is the Chatzonius. But the inner reason why the world was created for the Jews. That these also, we see that these has two times. We have the 15th of Elul, the 25th of Elul, and the Rosh HsShanah. The 25th of Elul was when the world was created. That the 25th of Elul, that when the Dvar of the world was created, it was with the exterior part of the world, not the main part. In Rosh HsShanah, the first day of Tishrei, it was when man was created. It says, and you're called man. But who? This is the real reason God created the world, was for the Jews, that we should serve and make the world be able to do his work. That means, that's why it says, this is the day of the beginning of your work, remembrance of the first day. That in Rosh HsShanah you have two matters. You have the Inyan Ikra, the Rosh HsShanah, the main thing of Rosh HsShanah is this is the beginning of God's actions, the beginning of his creation. Hashem brings down his essence that's above from the world. He brings down his essence that's totally beyond and above the world. Through the service of man, we bring down a love for godliness that makes the world shine beyond that what it could do by itself. A higher level. It just shines for godliness and holiness. Go to a place, you feel holiness there. It's a shine. That's from our service. If we didn't do anything, it wouldn't be holy. And then also is another thing. So this is one thing, that through our service, what we say, that through our service, we bring down the essence of God. And also in Rosh HaShanah, it's a remembrance of the first day. What's it mean to remembrance of the first day? So not only that they're bringing down the essence of God, the essence of the infinite light of God is drawn down also in the world, how God created the world. So it's the will when God created the world. And through this into all the world. Now this level, how God created the world, we bring down this higher level. We bring down this it's revealed in the world and in all the worlds. Because whatever you do here affects all the worlds. And according to this, we see there's a special relevance of the blowing of the Great Shofar to Rosh HaShanah. It's in two matters. That one, that the blowing of the Great Shofar. Okay. Now we. But all pizza a shaykhs to talk of Shofar Gadol, Rosh Hashanah. What's the relevance of the blowing of the Great Shofar to Rosh Hashanah? It's in two matters. Hamshakas gila the Shofar Gadol to Yisrael. Shaykhs to Kilis Vasecha. That just like in the beginning, Hashem blew down and bring down His essence into the Jewish people. That the man came and we brought down godliness to service, brought down essence into the world. That's the Kilis Vasecha. But how does this special quality come? This is through that we were in Ghost, with the land of Asher and then Egypt, and this is like Shaykh this is relevant the Zikr Yom Rishon, like the beginning of creation, because this is when man was created. I think I'm not so clear on this, but anyway. According to this, so we're saying now the blowing of the Great Shofar, which is as I said, what the Rebbe blew. The last time he blew shofar, he blew the Great Shofar. I heard it. Very, very special. So this is what's happening today. This is all the Jews. And you go look on and you see all the Jews getting together and dancing and singing and then saying we're not afraid and we're going to win. And throughout the world, the Jews are waking up. Now, this is all from the Great Shofar. It's amazing stuff. I live in Sfas, and I'm in contact with a lot of people who go out to help the soldiers. And they're telling me people never religious, all want to get close to God, and then they want to put on tefillin, and they need money for tefillin. We raise money we give out tefillin expense. We give out tzitzis, and we give out other things, holy things. And it's just the Jews just want this. It's just saying it's a great shofar. Like I have a video of one guy, he's a soldier on top of a tank in Gaza, and he's taking his talis, and he's like looking like so emotional. And my son-in-law told me, Moshe, he said he was praying for solace. This guy wasn't religious. He was praying for tzitzis. He was praying to get tzitzis, talis with tzitzis. And all of a sudden, somebody brings it to me. He's in the middle of the war. This is the blowing of the Great Shofar. This is the arousal that we're seeing. Okay. So, where we're holding. Okay. So now the Rebbe is going. Now we're towards the end. This is so we're blowing. Now this it says ViHaya BaYom HaHu Yitaka b'Shofar Gadol. He will blow the Great Shofar. The teaching is this: BaYom HaHu Yitaka b'Shofar Gadol, that it says that that day he will blow the Great Shofar, that will blow by itself. Hu shebasof zman hagalus, that at the end of the exile, nishara rak kama we're going shekodem BaYom HaHu Yitaka b'Shofar Gadol, that we're here, that we're seconds before the blowing of the Great Shofar that's going to take us all home into the third base of Megiddo. B'Sarah Mizah, and the Rebbe says even more. Now, generally, the Rebbe says these sikhs, like he said this, like in Kuntres in 1967, what was the beginning of 1968 in the Jewish year, right after the 6 Day War. So he said this then, and he says, we see also that in many matters that we already started seeing the blowing of the Great Shofar. Like it's mentioned, Maamar, like it's mentioned in the Maamar from the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, Friedrich Rebbe, said, Befrat Shemayetz Kesivas Maamar Ad Akshav Kavar Avru Kama Kam Shanim. And the Rebbe says, particularly from once I wrote once this Maamar was written, until now, that we see there have been many years, and Ba'akshav Bisman Ha'achron, and here in the later times we see actuality that there are many, there are many people that were at first very lost Jews, Abdim B'Nachim, Rahman Islam, and they're aroused to do tshuva through the blowing of the Great Shofar. This is the Rebbe. The Rebbe is blowing the Great Shofar, the Moshiach Shofar. It's an amazing thing. That's why the Rebbe is something else. And everybody, miracles upon miracles. So many people tell me stories and they never saw the Rebbe. He comes in dreams, comes different ways. But tzrich lios habada bebitos. So in order to do that, you have to level bittul. What's it mean? Hakar shagash yekalim yom shetzbar le'ayda heim b'negei la'atzmo, heim b'negei luzaso, that a person has to realize that everything that he does in service of Hashem, whether for that he's davening and learning for himself, or he's going to help another Jew, he lo mitzad ha'mayla shelo. It's not because I'm great. I mean, people call me this, that. I have no clue why they call me. I'm not great. I'm just a simple guy. I don't know what I'm doing. I haven't learned for years. I see these people can quote things. I forget things. I don't know what I'm doing. But anyways, I know that. So therefore, the Rebbe says this is it. That they know it's not from them. El matzad nesinas koach milamayla. We know that Hashem picked me up and brought me here. That's pashut. That's clear. No other way to understand it. And this, that a person feels that he's nothing, it doesn't make him like I'm a nothing, I'm a garnished, what am I going to do? I can't do anything. And the contrary, that through this, that his service becomes even greater. Because when a person is thinking, well, I'm going to do this, I have what I can do, I can't do that much, I can't do this, it's with his own mitzias, with his own existence, it's limited because he's a limited being. Even when you're level that you're going beyond your limitations, we said we should love God with all our heart, with all our soul, with all our might. So they say, well, all our heart means with both evil, the two parts of the heart. One is the evil inclination, one is the animal soul, and one is the divine soul of the good inclination. With what we call nafshika, with your whole soul, even if you have to give over, even a level that's totally beyond everything, that beyond the level, the highest level in it, but it's still your ma'od, it's still your strength, that's still limited. But this, that you are Gashis and Yonim Shanasa Alavodaso, Aim Lo Matzada Kokasha Yeshlo, Elamatzad Elokus. But when a person realizes and feels that everything he's doing is not because of him, but it's only because of Hashem, Elokus, only because of godliness. Through this, who yitzim mitzias v'gvaro shalo, he goes out from his limitations, v'alo de shalo hilam mainim midia v'gabala, and his service will be above limitations. In other words, a person, that's one of the main things that I'm trying to impress on everybody, myself also. I mean, and people, Baruch Hashem, my people who are really pushing me to do more and more, because we have special understanding, special beings. I mean, for me, I know this is all from Hashem, because I don't. It's not like I worked or I don't know. It's just it's a Dvar project because I don't know what I'm doing. But I know that what Hashem wants me to do. If I do that, I'm doing what's good, and that's why I do it, because I like to do good. I want to do what's right. I want to bring Gula Shlema. But it's not me, because Hashem. I know that Hashem is giving the korach, and everything comes from Him. Now we're in the last short test. Explains over there in the Maamar that talks about in that day the Great Shofar will blow. But Inyan Shofar the Rosh HsShanah, it talks about in the Gam Iker that we see a very interesting thing, that we see that the blowing of the shofar is through the crying out from the inner part of the heart. Nevertheless, we see that the shofar has to be, by the regular shofar, you have to blow the shofar, a physical shofar. That's a high level. And also in order to reveal this inner ratzon, this inner will of the higher supernal will, God's will, in the level of the shofar that talks about this, the level of the shofar of above, it has to be drawn down in physicality. From there it's understood. The kamokain hubanagela tikish shofar gadol. Similar it is with Moshiach Shofar that will be in that day. She'amah speak on yonim she'ayu ad akshav. It won't be enough to what we have now. But tikva shofar gadol speak liyosbov and shakal Yisrael. That the blowing of the shofar, it has to be in a way that all the Jews, Gam Kola Ha'oivdim V'Nedachim, the lost Jews that will come down and bow down in Pa'ara Kodesh Yerushalayim, Kapashuta, the Jerusalem, and simply Jerusalem, to Mashiach Tzidkenu, that she take us, Kamiyah Zartzena, upright to our land, Ba'agala Didan Bakar of Mamash, right now. Yeah. So this shofar God, this is one of the from my understanding, this is one of the basic Maamar where the Rebbe explains what's happening with the Balchuvas, why they're so special, why they have such, they just want to do what's right. I mean, Balchuvas, what happens? I've talked to many of them. They just want to do what's right. Because we come from this level. In another Maamar, hopefully I'm learning it too. This is actually at the 25th of Adar, which is the creation of the world called Rebbe Yeshua. We talk more about the arousal and how the Baal Tshuva get and how special he is. So, to understand why you're so special is good, because then you're going to go do more. Because if you don't think you're anything and you just think you're a bum, and who am I to pray for this? I had a friend of mine. He's an attorney. He works for the IRS. He's a very smart guy. So the president committee called him up and says, will you pray for me? And he said, well, me pray for you? Who am I to pray for anybody? Or give me a bracha or pray for him. So, unfortunately, the person died a couple of days later. So I realized, he says, I should have prayed for him. We should do more good stuff. What we do means stuff. Hashem wants it. Hashem means it. That's what all Dvar Malchus that I teach and all these myriads to pick us up. Now, the amazing thing, the Rebbe says that everybody can reach this level, not just the Baal Tshuva. That's in our time, but they have to understand how it works and what it is. Zygosent, everybody. Hope you'll have a great year. Right now it's right before HsShanah. You probably hear this maybe after, but everybody have a great year, and I should have year HsShanah Tova. We should see Mashiach right away, and all the people who got hurt should get better right away, and then we should see much more love for each other and many more miracles, and our enemy, the Malchus, should be destroyed forever and ever. Zygosent.